Hello everyone, it's Nina and welcome back to my channel. So I had the idea of doing a video that would basically combine doing some fun, nerdy fangirl stuff all in one weekend. So basically an excuse for me to talk about all of my hyperfixations in one normal vlog. So it's currently Saturday, and for the majority of the morning I've just been kind of chilling out and getting ready to film. I did read one volume of Dr. Stone. I just finished volume 12, so I'm now about to start volume 13. This is also the last of the volumes I had checked out from my library, so once I finish this, I think I'm going to go ahead and request a couple more that I'll probably be able to pick up in the next week or so. Later on in the afternoon, we actually have a Pokemon Go community day, so later on my wife and I are going to meet up with my friend Will, and we're going to go out and hunt for some shiny Pokemon. And for tomorrow, we are actually going to go to the Netflix house in KOP to do the One Piece experience that I think is kind of like a more simplified escape room. I'm definitely a very bad fan because I have not watched season 2 of the live action One Piece yet, but I have so many friends, including my best friend from high school, who loves One Piece that we're actually going to be going with and getting a ride with. So I think it'll be a really fun time. Also, while we are there, we will probably eat lunch at the attached restaurant, which is kind of like the closest thing to an anime cafe in my area. So those are kind of the big things I have on the docket. I think for later today, in addition to going out and doing our Pokemon Go walk, I also want to do a couple crafts. I'm working on a book cover craft that you'll probably see in a vlog before this one. I'm finishing up another vlog that I had filmed last weekend. But the other thing I really want to do is I want to make a new kind of base to attach all of the charms I have on my Ita bag. This is the bag I primarily carry around when I'm at conventions. And I just feel like the way I set it up back before Katsucon is not very conducive to actually showing off the charms. I definitely used to have one of these for this bag, but I basically want to make a insert that I can attach all the charms to so that they won't kind of shift around and fall on top of each other while I'm wearing the bag. So this is one of the things I definitely want to work on for this video. So yeah, those are just some of the things I have planned. Hope you guys enjoyed this style of vlog, and let's get right on into it. So this is what I have for my Ita bag right now. I'm going to take all of these little guys out because I have to measure this area when I make the base. And I figured while I did that, I would also talk about my just general love of Yu-Gi-Oh! I've been getting back into it. It's kind of like the eternal fandom of mine. I've loved it ever since I was a kid, and I've been getting back into it a lot in the last couple months. For the original series, I was getting really into it in the fall time because that's when Dylan from Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything, who I've talked about on this channel, I think before, he is one of our actual IRL friends who we met through Yu-Gi-Oh! Fandom. But he runs a Yu-Gi-Oh! Themed YouTube channel as well as a Twitch channel. And he's been doing watch-alongs of all of the series in order on his Twitch. So back in the fall time when he was watching Duel Monsters, I was getting really emotionally invested in that again. Specifically the part around season 4 with the filler arc of Doma. Those characters are some of my favorite characters of all time. Specifically the character Alistair. I love him so much. He was one of the very first anime Blorbos I ever had. So much so that as a kid, my family had gotten me and my brother some knockoff Build-A-Bears, and we ended up naming one of them Alistair, and then my grandma even DIY'd a little crop top for him to wear so that he would look just like the real Alistair. And honestly, my love has continued that this last year when we went to Build-A-Bear for Will's 30th birthday, I ended up getting the Mothman Build-A-Bear just because it was the one I liked the most, and I thought it was so cute, just because I also really love Mothman. But I decided that I would name that Build-A-Bear Imelda, which is Alistair's original Japanese name. So yes, I just love that character so much. But as you can see, the Ita bag I had set up over here was for Jaden from Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. He is the main protagonist of the series. And I've also loved him. He was another one of my anime boyfriends ever since I was 11. So I basically have 20 years experience loving and being obsessed with this character. I believe this Ita bag is from Palm Up. I think I got it from Ami Ami probably 10 years ago, so I have no idea if they still sell something similar to this. But as you can see, there's a zipper on the bottom, and then inside this area, there's actually these little kind of ribbon pieces that are sewn down that you can attach the charms to. They are segmented, so they're in theory, the charms won't kind of slide on top of one another and all cluster in one spot. But because some of my charms were a little bit larger, they still would kind of knock into each other and get covered. So it was my goal to put a base piece of fabric right here that I can just pin at the top, and then really closely attach each of the charms with safety pins to the fabric right at the base, so that way they won't have as much kind of leeway to slide around on. I do have a ton of Jaden merch from having loved him for so long. And the stuff I had on my bag was kind of a mix of both fan merch and official merch. I believe this is some official merch. This is him from like season 4. I have this kind of like version of the pinch strap charms where it's like an acrylic base instead of rubber. And it's of Jaden and Yubel, who is a like former villain that is a dual spirit that becomes attached to him. This I think is probably one of the more recent additions to my collection. This was a gift from our friend Angie, who gave us like a ton of Yu-Gi-Oh merch when she last went to Japan. I kind of did mess this one up because I did not realize that there was a hole in the bottom for where you're supposed to like slide the charm through. So I ended up like cutting the top, not realizing it. Luckily, I have other charms in the style that now I know how they're supposed to work. So I was able to set up the other charms I have in this style to not make the same mistake and like cut at the top. So kind of can't like fully function on its own. But since it's going to be inside of an Ita bag, it doesn't really matter. And I have a couple different fan art pieces here. This one of Jaden is from our friend Tien, who runs the Etsy shop This Is Tien. I have this really cute charm that I was using as a zipper pull. I believe this artist's name is Rosefin Apple, but I do not know if their shop is still active. And then this one I just picked up at Zenkai. I can't believe I hadn't bought this, but it's from our friend Haru. I believe her store and username online is Haruka Illustrates. And we have a lot of her Zexal charms, but for some reason I had not bought her Jaden one, so I decided to remedy that. And I now have him to add to the Ita bag. And the last thing I pulled up from Zenkai was totally a steal. I got this adorable plushie of Yubel for only $15. I feel like these sell for a ton more online when I was just like kind of doing a cursory glance on eBay and stuff. So I'm thinking I probably might put this on the outside of the bag or display it somewhere else on my like pin board with the other Yu-Gi-Oh stuff I have. I don't actually have a ton of like Yu-Gi-Oh plushie, so I think that this would be a good addition to if I don't end up putting it on the actual Ita bag. But they are just like so incredibly cute. I probably will take down some of the other Jaden merch I have on my like pin display boards and kind of reconfigure it once I have the new base set up, so I can kind of see how I can maximize having as much merch as possible in the actual window of the Ita bag. I also kind of at the same time am thinking I might want to get a newer, larger Ita bag in the near future. I do really like the size of the bag I have right now for when I'm at conventions and I don't have to carry a lot. However, one thing I pretty much always like to have on me is a umbrella that I can kind of condense down because I really just hate the idea of being caught in the rain, and I can definitely not fit an umbrella in this size of Ita bag. So I'm thinking I might end up getting one that's closer to the dimensions of some other bags that I have that I know will fit a umbrella in them. Still trying to look around and like source the best place to get my Ita bag, but for right now I'm going to work with what I have and set this guy up to best show the merch that I have right now. Okay, so this morning I did go ahead and finish sewing the little insert I made for my Ita bag. Let me just unzip this so you guys can see. I mean, it's literally just 2 pieces of cotton that I tried to like round the corners off a little bit. And I did interface one side to give it a little bit more structure. I think my ideal scenario is I'm going to like put safety pins on the very top sections over here and attach them to the loops at the very top of the Ita bag as a way to like hold this in place. I can kind of work on this separately, adding in all the pins and charms I want to put in my Ita bag. And once they're all attached in place, then I will put this into the actual bag itself. This is a very easy project. I've made inserts for other Ita bags in the past. I just find them a lot more useful than attaching everything to the bag itself. So you have the option to kind of like switch in and out depending on like which fandom you're really into. Anyway, this was very simple. I probably could make another one of these if I wanted to have a backup for a different character. Although I did just use the last of the pink cotton that I had, so I might have to wait until I go out shopping again to get more fabric, or just like use a different fabric or color overall. But that's my little update on this project. I did my makeup and got dressed and ready to go to Netflix house. Our friend Manny is going to come pick us up in like an hour. We're gonna go for lunch, probably walk around, see the other like exhibits and stuff they have there. And then we're not doing the actual like One Piece experience escape room thing until 3. So I've got a little bit of time to kill, but probably the next time I pop in here will be after we've actually gone and done the full One Piece experience. For my outfit, I have this Lazy Elf and Vans collab dress. I have these mesh socks with my Mary Janes. And then for my earrings, I just have these pearl heart ones. And this is the fit I'm going for Netflix house.
that because I feel like them during the acts on the way to like
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. This is really good. Do you want a sip?
all right, please one.
Me.
I would like.
So cute. And the paper. Yeah, they are playing sports.
Made it to the safe first. While the safe looked empty.
It's like lighting up the archway.
So it's now the next weekend, and I thought I would do a little wrap up to end off this video. First of all, I wanted to talk about our experience going to Netflix House. I thought it was actually really, really cute. It was a little like overwhelming at some parts just because there was so much stuff to look at, especially because this was our first time going. And even though there's a lot of shows at Netflix that I'm like not really a part of the fandom for, I like know what most of them are, so it was just really cool to look at all of the merch that they had for the series. We did eat at the Netflix cafe, and one thing that they did was they gave us these coasters that have a little compass rose on one side and then the One Piece live action logo on the back. The food I thought was okay. There might have been a couple things on the menu that were a little bit overpriced, but I think for my very like One Piece themed meal, it was totally fine, and I thought it was pretty good. The actual like escape room experience itself was also really cute. One thing we kind of didn't realize going in was that since you can only reserve up to 8 people in one group, we thought that the max number of people for each like session was 8, but we actually had 2 other like random parties that were paired with our group. But I don't think the experience of like doing it with strangers was that bad, especially because one of the groups we were paired with was like a mother and son, and the son was like so excited to see all of the One Piece characters. That was like very, very charming to see him get so excited whenever they were talking about the characters. Overall, it was cute. I definitely think some of the puzzles maybe were a little less complicated than maybe like a traditional escape room because it is supposed to be very all ages, but I definitely think our whole group had a really good time. Another quick thing I wanted to show you is, as you saw, I did start assembling my Ita bag. This is the design I ended up going for. I realized I showed you a bunch of the charms I was previously using on my Ita bag, and I used like almost none of them in the final one I ended up assembling. I just wanted to use more of the like official rubber straps that I have, which kind of inadvertently made this be a bag of Jaden and all of his boyfriends. I put my plushie of Yubel on the side of the bag, like hanging on the outside. In rewatching the show as part of Dylan's live streams, we just got to the first like reveal of Yubel, and I forgot about how cool they are. I'm just so excited to see more of them in the second half of season 3. But I think this like overall design and like the insert that I made is working pretty well for this bag. I've yet to actually like take it out and use it on the town, but I think just for the way I was able to attach it into the bag itself, and then the charms are not like moving around as much as they were before by having them be like kind of pinned closer to the area where they're supposed to be as opposed to like dangling from the top. I am pretty happy with this. So yeah, that is going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this slightly different style of vlog. I had a lot of fun making it, and I honestly feel like I would love to do more vlogs like this in the future. I feel like as I've kind of expanded this channel to be beyond my hobby of reading, but to like include some of my other hobbies, I haven't really talked a lot about my like fandom related hobbies, so I'd really like to do more of that in the future. As always, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Consider liking this video or subscribing if you aren't already. Also consider following my Storygraph and my Bookstagram. Both are linked in the description. And that's going to be it for me today. I hope you guys all have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!